Despite its appearance, this is not an elephant graveyard. This is actually not a graveyard at all. In the last video, I went to a grocery store and got 2 spiny lobsters, but instead of eating them, I made them my pets. I put them in this big aquarium and named one Quiche and the other one Omelette. We went ahead and built them a rock cave so they'd have some shelter. They loved watching me build it. And in the end, they really enjoyed the cave. Something else they really enjoyed was eating. Check out how they just gobble up these earthworms. I'm pretty sure there's not much more in life that they love more than eating. And their favorite food by far is juicy, delectable, raw shrimp. With the way they eat, their food budget is almost higher than mine. They're also really messy eaters, so I decided to add a cleanup crew in the form of some really cool fish. These damsels will eat the food particles that escape. So will these 2 lunar wrasses that kind of seem like they're in love. I also added this sharp-nosed pufferfish. This has to be one of the most majestic and adorable fish I've ever seen. I also threw in some turbo snails. My favorite fish, however, out of the ones that I added is this snowflake moray eel. He has a huge personality that you'll see develop over the next videos. Since then, everyone has been doing mostly great, besides Quiche and Omelette constantly deconstructing their cave. And to my surprise, sadly the lobsters ate right through the turbo snail's shells. Of course, Quiche and Omelette still have their crazy appetite. But I wanted to make sure the fish were also getting everything they needed. So on top of the food pellets I've been giving them, I got them some live brine shrimp, which I'm sure they will absolutely love. What an absolute feeding frenzy. Although timid at first, the sharp-nosed puffer finally got enough bravery to come out and get a couple bites himself. A few days later, I got really concerned because Quiche was not looking well. He was very discolored and really lethargic and slow-moving. He spent most of his time just sitting up here at the top of the rock cave. When I tried feeding him his favorite food, shrimp, he didn't want anything to do with it. In fact, he slid down behind the cave and just sat there. When I came to check on him the next morning, I got a big scare because it looked like he had passed away. But that sadness quickly turned to joy when I looked on the top of the cave. There he was, looking healthier than ever and a little bit bigger. What I saw below the cave was actually his skin that he had molted, which Omelette wasted no time to start munching on. I decided to celebrate the occasion of a successful molt with some frozen krill for the entire tank. Quiche crouches down like an excited puppy and then pounces on all the krill. Even the sharp-nosed puffer seems to be braver than ever and joins in on the festivities. And best of all, Quiche is 100% back to his normal self, chasing after food. Even the eel snags himself a krill. It's pretty much an all-you-can-eat buffet for everyone in this little ocean. Over the next couple days, the lobsters continue to eat massive amounts of shrimp. But something I started to notice is the snowflake moray eel, who I actually ended up naming Lentil, didn't get very much food for himself, and he started to act really hungry. It looked like he was on a great quest to find food, and he looked in every single little corner of the tank, but the lobsters had already got into all the shrimp. Seeing how sad and hungry he looked, I went ahead and gave him a krill. But he gobbled it down so fast, I decided to see what would he do if I gave him a whole shrimp. At first, it looked like he was trying to take a bite out of the lobster, but when he finally saw the shrimp, he went absolutely ballistic. The size of the shrimp did not intimidate Lentil at all. In fact, he was so enthusiastic, he let it go and the current swept it away. As he frantically looked for it, the current carried it even further toward the lobsters. I decided to retrieve it and give Lentil another chance, which then he got swept away by the current. What is going on with this guy? Then he gets beat up by the spiny lobster. Finally, Lentil gets the shrimp all to himself and uses his entire body to break off a piece. The next morning, Omelette was acting super strange. He had boxed himself in with these rocks, and he stayed in the cave all day. And sure enough, the next day, there was his molt. And up on the cave sat Omelette. Right away, I noticed that his right antenna was no longer crooked. If you remember before, it was a little bit damaged, but now it's almost completely healed, which will make it a lot harder to tell Quiche and Omelette apart, but I'm glad he's healing. Thank you all so much for watching. It means the world to me that you guys join me on these adventures. The next one is about these spiny lobsters versus obstacles.